You're watching Awjiz Boys Show.
Russian.
Viewer discretion advised. The Awjiz Boys with Dawood and Kane is satire shows intended for mature audience. Okay, the view, thought, and opinion expressed are solely those of the Awjiz Boys and do not represent any business, partner, or affiliate.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Kane, and this is...
Kane.
And
I'm Dawood.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'm Dawood and you're Kane.
I'm Kane,
Yeah.
and this is Dawood.
And we are...
The Awjiz Boys.
Nice to be here. We're not in a rush.
I feel like we're kind of in a rush.
We're no in a rush. Okay. Feels a little rushing. We're not rushing. Anyway. Is this... Are you in the camera? Are you in the shot?
I'm in the shot.
You feel comfortable with this?
I should be okay enough. You know,
Okay.
as long as our guest is the
As long
focus.
as our guest is here. Who is our guest?
Our guest is Afghan, by the way.
You're Afghan? This entire time?
Yeah, surprise.
Oh my goodness.
Surprise.
His name is Yosef Mohammed Azam, but he goes by...
I go by Joseph
Got it.
or Yusuf.
Okay. Yeah, yes, sir.
And your grandfather gave you that name?
My grandfather gave me the name Yusuf. Yeah.
Oh, okay. How do
Mohammed
you feel about him? Positive things, negative things?
You know, I the only reason I was born in Afghanistan is because of him.
Oh, so we don't like him.
We like him. We like him. Yeah, I like
oh.
being Afghan. Just for the
Okay.
record. For the record.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Can we start by having some chicken, courtesy of Fiery Chicks in San Jose? Thank you, Fiery Chicks.
Help yourself.
This is 100% halal chicken, by the way. And the owner, Solly, was able to give us some of this amazing chicken.
Smells really good.
This looks so good. This looks incredible. Dawood should have some too. Oh, Dawood's getting some of the
Wait, can I eat-
fiery. Yes,
can I eat
please.
this? All right.
Getting the fiery fries and trying this out. By the way, this is spicy. Okay, Oh man. Oh man.
That's really good.
Oh.
And then you say, actually, I know it was good.
Okay.
No, you don't want to lie to people.
You've had this before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is good.
Okay.
Hey guys, can you sponsor us on the next episode? That would be great. I love the chicken. Thank you so much. But it would be great if you paid us. We would say so many great things. What would you say if they paid us money?
Oh, man. I want to run train on this chicken. He's so bad.
Wow.
Me and the boys running train on the sponsored chicken. That's what we'll do for
More
you.
trains.
One more bite.
They'll be only on the OnlyFans. Okay.
Okay, so your grandfather gave you the name Joseph.
All right. You finish your fucking food.
I'm
Don't
sorry.
talk about your mouth full.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be Afghan. You know Afghans talk when there's food in their mouth.
That's not an Afghan thing.
No, it's just rude.
This is rude, yeah. We'll make that a thing.
That's an Afghan thing for
For your family, maybe.
No, my family.
Nobody does that, all right? My mom would slap the shit out of me if I talk my mouth.
Yeah, that's an American thing. Afghans, we have food in our mouth and we'll talk.
I don't know.
Okay, whatever you say.
And I'm not Afghan.
Yeah, I know. Get out of here, dude.
Anyway, so your grandfather, he did great things, I'm assuming?
Yeah, my grandfather on my dad's side, he was, my family owned factories, like leather factories in Afghanistan, and they were shoe people. So shoe people in Afghanistan.
Okay, yeah.
And then on my mom's side, my grandfather was in prison, actually, for a long time, but he was like
So he is cool.
a political dissident. I think there were some overthrowing of monarchy things happening.
You're a communist?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So that was that side of the family.
What is your ethnic breakdown? Do you know?
I think we're a mix. You know, my family, they're from Andarab and some family from Kabul.
Okay.
And so we're sort of, as you can tell, a mix of different.
For sure, yeah, because you're white passing.
I am white passing.
Yeah, yeah.
Not at the airport, but
Not there. Yeah, your name will give it
yeah,
away.
yeah, but
Yeah, but
in life.
yeah, your face is very like Caucasian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So was that Uzbek maybe? Tajik?
Tajik?
Tajik a little bit. Yep.
Okay.
I'm Tajik, by the way.
You're Tajik?
Wait, hold on a second.
He's definitely not
do,
white
do I
passing.
know you?
Yeah. Sorry? We probably are. Did you say we're family?
Are you related?
Are we related?
We have to. I think me and Dawood are related.
How the fuck are we related?
You guys are
we
married.
look.
There's difference.
we look alike?
No, I said if we look at our ancestry.
Yeah, all Afghans are related.
We're all related.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm trying
It's
to
not
say.
really a family tree. It's like a family bush.
A bush.
Yeah, it's just gonna we're all like the royal family in the UK.
And we're all connected by cousins.
Exactly. we never branch out too far.
I see. But he's the first Tajik on the pod.
Is he?
Yeah. Everybody.
Of any proportion, because we're all mixed.
There's no way we have it.
We don't.
All
you
the
don't
other
know
people
that.
that we brought were Pashtun.
So
said
they
they're
claimed.
So they claim. Everybody wants
So
to
they
be.
claimed.
Oh, they want to be?
I think everybody wants to be Pashtun,
I see.
except for Pashtuns.
Oh.
Can I tell you, I had never talked about my ethnicity or was asked about it until like 4 or 5 years ago, like in my life. Like it's not something that was
How did it even come up then?
getting involved in community work
Yeah. Were you around a lot of Afghans?
as a kid.
Yeah.
Only like my cousins and like close family friends.
That's what it is. When you branch out and meet other Afghans, they want to know what type of Afghan you are,
Like where you line up.
where you line up. They're like, "Oh, you're Afghan," and then like, "Do you speak Farsi or Pashto?"
Yeah.
Do you speak Farsi or
I
Pashto?
speak Farsi.
Farsi.
And I
Okay.
grew up, my dad speaks Pashto, but I grew up thinking, oh, some Afghans speak Farsi, some speak Pashto, but there's no reason for that. That's just,
Yeah. We're with Farsi Zaman too.
Yeah, we are. And we, that's the top, right? That's what you want to be. I mean, not right now based on the regime, but I mean, like, historically,
Historically, yeah.
it's complicated. It's complicated.
We don't need to get into all
Can
that.
you say something Farsi for our Farsi listener? Just say one sentence so they know.
Ke Farsi yaad aaram yachi.
There you go.
Okay, that's pretty good. Pretty good. What's your thoughts on Kamala Harris?
My thoughts on her in this election in general, like,
Her being black.
she is.
She wait a minute. She is.
I believe
Trump
she-
said otherwise.
I thought she was Indian.
Yeah.
Trump said a lot of things.
Fair enough.
Look, I think Kamala Harris. I've known her work since I was in law school in San Francisco.
Damn.
I think that
Were you a fan of it back then?
I was, but I actually graduated out of a program that was for like underprivileged law students.
Yeah.
And she had come out of that program. And so in our law school, she was like a celebrity because she, got somewhere having gone through that program.
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
It's interesting because, like, heads up, there's gonna be a lot of pushback on Kamala. I know you're a Kamala fan.
Yeah.
for
No
the most
problem.
part, and I am
Not?
not a Trumper by any means, but I'm disillusioned with the whole system, and I
Yeah.
think we shouldn't vote for any of the two-party system. I'm one of those guys.
Like ever or this election.
or ever. We've never had every lesser evil has like done terrible things to Muslims. So Kamala falls in line with that. What do you think about her days as a prosecutor, like, and her being extremely tough on minorities is what I've heard.
I think all prosecutors are tough on minorities. I think that's the way our system is set up. So
Okay.
I don't think that's wrong. I mean, when she was a prosecutor or she was attorney general, she was the top cop in California.
Yeah.
She was a cop, and that's the system. So
True.
I don't think that she was any more or less tough on minorities than other people.
Yeah.
I think some people maybe expected her not to be as tough because she happens to be half black and half Indian, or even happens to be a woman.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't think that actually makes a difference.
So you think there is a gender bias?
I think people make assumptions based on gender.
Gotcha.
In terms of like prosecutors and what they're going to be like. But yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up to be a prosecutor for a reason,
Yeah.
right? I've always been on the defense side of lawyering, right?
Yeah. That makes sense. And what kind of law do you practice again?
I do white collar defense and like anti-corruption,
Okay.
like investigations where people
Like
bribe other
Jordan
people.
Belfort, you would have got him out.
If he would have had enough money
Nice.
and he hired my firm that I used to be at,
Definitely
we
would
would
have
have got
had
him out.
Jordan Belfort? Yes. I would hope
I sat next to him on a plane.
Oh, really?
This is the
He finds commercial?
Well done.
yes, years ago. This is amazing
damn.
reference. Don't know where this came from.
Yeah, this was not scripted.
I was in college in New York, and there was some sort of winter storm or something, and there were no flights, and I was on one of the last American flights coming out.
Wow.
And he took a coach seat because he needed to get back to LA, and I had no idea who he was until he made sure to tell me.
Oh, yeah? Is he a douche?
Yes,
Okay.
Damn.
but also clearly rich.
Yeah. Most rich people are douches.
Yeah,
I feel like they have to be,
Continue. Why? Where do you think that?
Because I feel like you have to have the mentality of being like, I have to think of myself at a lot of times in order to be advantageous in this business moment. So if they just carry that on at business, eventually their personal life becomes a business opportunity, everything. So then they seem like douches.
That's a good point. Gandhi, broke bitch. So, you know what I'm saying?
But he got bitches.
Yeah, we don't got to get a Gandhi's dating history.
Exactly. Speaking
I'm
of
impressed
PDF,
that you know that, by the way.
Yeah, we know the worst thing about everybody. Gandhi was also a lawyer.
Can't wait.
Yeah, wasn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he
I
was
thought he was a judge.
Was he a judge?
He was a judge, and he prosecuted black people, and that's what people were saying.
and then he
like,
ran for president.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
got
pretty much Gandhi is running for president in a wing.
Yeah, this is going exactly this place.
Yeah, and we are, we obviously want to get your opinions on Kamala Harris. We want maybe you sway I think our audience, definitely not Trumpers. I know that much.
For sure.
But I think maybe not all of them are probably not pro Kamala Harris for reasons we'll get into shortly.
Yeah,
But we're here to be funny.
Yes.
That's my most important goal, is trying to derail this and make it funny. But Kane is trying to keep us on topic and make this informative.
Yes, great. And I want to talk about Kamala, and we will talk about it pretty much the whole episode. But can you talk about Nasrina Barzai?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Why is she important, and why should Afghans know about her?
First of all, you guys should have her on at some point if she comes on, because she could
DC,
speak for herself.
Yep.
The reason I think that she's important is that we've never had a person from our community that close to the levers of power and who are still committed to influencing in the ways that we probably all agree on. Even if we don't agree on how to get there, like the outcome, I think we probably agree on.
Yes.
And I don't think we've had anybody that close to decisions before.
Hey, listeners, let's talk about elevating your wardrobe with some serious style.
Absolutely. If you're all about expressing yourself and supporting the movement to normalize cannabis, then you gotta check out the Urban Connoisseur. They've got an incredible lineup of apparel that's all about living life elevated.
We're talking heavyweight chenille, skull hoodies, vibrant t-shirts with bold statements, and even some sleek accessories like snapback hats and comfy socks. And let's not forget those live life elevated gym shorts, perfect for the summertime.
And they got a deal for Awjiz listeners. They're offering an exclusive 20% off their entire shop. Just use the promo code Awjiz, AWJIZ, when you check out.
Dive into their collection of fashion-forward pieces that do more than just look good. They're about making a statement, breaking down barriers, and sparking conversations.
Sparking. I like that. Whether you're looking for something casual, like a gas emoji t-shirt, or something that stands out like THC logo crew socks, THC, the Urban Connoisseur, has got you covered.
Check out their full range and take your style to the next level at theurbanconnoisseur.com. And remember to use special promo code AWJIZ for 20% off your purchases.
And now,
Let's get back to the show.
Except for like Zalmai Khalilzad, which that did not go well.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
Who's
He's the like long-standing Afghan guy who negotiated Trump's deal with the Taliban for him. That guy.
Yes.
You know him?
I now
You
know.
know, like our parents talked about this guy.
Exactly. That's where I know him from. My parents hated him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that checks out. What do you say to the people? So see, I understand.
But hold on, I want to stay with this. Nasrina.
Yeah.
Is that sorry?
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
related.
Gotcha. Thank you.
A lot of people, because when she came out of the closet, when she came out, and what was the position that she's in? Do you know?
So she was in the White House as one of the vice president's lawyers on like just a lot of stuff.
But
And
now
then
she's like an
she's like the
ambassador
head
for-
of I think she's the head of Muslim and Arab engagement for the campaign.
It's actually not an Arab, but perfectly fine. That's
Yeah, sure, fair.
Just a nice coincidence, I guess.
I mean, we can't tell if the vice president is Indian or black. Can we tell the difference if she's Arab or Afghan?
What Afghans or
I
Arabs?
mean, we've
now.
also had white people be like
in that
the
position.
head of Latino
Really?
outreach in this country. So
Okay. Yeah.
slim pickings sometimes.
Fair enough. What do you say? So when she posted, because she did post like, hey, or someone posted about her.
Yeah.
It was a post.
Yeah.
All the comments, everybody coming after her for being, you're going to hear this word a few times because Kamala Harris has said it, a coconut, a sellout. What do you feel is an argument against that?
As someone who has been called that regularly,
Yes.
Damn.
You look like the opposite
let's
of a
just
coconut.
Yeah.
name that.
You look like the white coconut.
An inverted
I'm just like
coconut.
the coconut meat.
Yeah, you're like
There's a
coconut
couple
meat.
of like brown hairs on it.
Yeah.
No. Look, I think that people have different ways of interacting and thinking about like what the long game is and the short game is for our community.
Sure.
And I think I really don't want to be here to defend her because I'm not that person for it. But I'll say this about how people react to that stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
what have you done? What have you done for our community for other communities, for civil rights, stuff that she worked on before getting into government.
Yeah.
What have you done that entitles you to take that position of criticism, or what are you willing to do
Yeah.
to take on that position? And if you have a good answer for that, it's hard to argue with that. But I never get a good answer.
Yeah, it's mostly people just saying, fuck Kamala Harris, and I don't want to work with her, and we shouldn't work with her. So anybody who tries to make a change from within is a scumbag kind of a thing. It's kind of, which it's very nearsighted. I don't think it helps anybody. Do you have any more questions about this lady?
Yeah, I want to know, like, what else did she do for the Afghan community to make us feel like, oh, that's good. That's one of us in that position. Like, do you know anything about her that you're like,
Do we know her track record? Right?
yes?
Yeah,
What's
I
her
mean,
track record
I
like?
can tell you her track record over the last 3 years because as someone who's done community work and evac work and whatever, like
Sure.
that's who we were talking to.
Oh, okay.
Like she's one of the people who, like after August 2021, like organized meetings for the community at the White House, pulled us into meetings with like DHS and all these people that are making decisions about getting people out, resettlement.
What's
immigration,
DHS?
Department of Homeland Security.
Okay.
These are the people that were making the decisions about what to do with the Afghans. And she was organizing meetings at the White House and then putting a bunch of us in the room to talk.
Oh, I see.
I mean, that literally is the first time I ever talked to her, actually.
Wait, I did see that weird Afghan dinner. Or not weird, but
one?
it was like,
the
it
White
seemed
House?
like at the White House, so many different Afghans were there. I didn't know what the reason was.
There were a couple reasons.
tell
We got invited to two things that
Oh,
we
you were there?
usually- I was there. I was
Okay.
there. One was like an Eid celebration,
Okay.
which Trump had done away with and Biden brought back.
Great.
With probably with
Trump
Harris.
just wanted to do the Ramadan part, not the.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, actually,
Nobody
eats. He's like, actually, I'm just going to starve you. You're not fasting. I'm going to starve you.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that part's cool. So that was one thing. And then there was like a Nowruz celebration that traditionally a lot of Iranians have gone to.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Afghans got folded in.
So you met Biden?
No, I didn't meet him. We were
But you
just,
s-
I was in
but
the
it
room.
was during the time that Biden was in administration.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
went
yeah.
to the White House.
I went to the White House along with a lot of other people we know. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
That is awesome.
I think I saw that.
Is it cool?
No.
'Cause
I personally
Say.
I've thought about this. Like if I was invited
Yeah.
to the White House, I probably wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I'm in a different position.
Yeah.
But I would grandstand and just not
Yeah.
deal with, but also I'm not gonna I have no power to fix the system from within. I'm not educated. I'm a stand-up comedian. So I can only criticize from with a microphone. That's really all I can do.
Yeah.
So that's what I continue to plan to do.
But we need to be in those rooms. Like that's
I
a
think
step.
Afghans need to be in those rooms. I
Yes.
don't think me personally would be in those.
But what if you got invited and you were the gateway to another Afghan and you make such a good impression that they're like, let's bring other Afghans because Dawood was so chill.
It feels kind of shucking and jiving, and I'm not about that.
I've heard that. Well,
Yeah.
can I push back on one
Please?
thing though? Because one of the things that's happened the last 3 years is we've had to figure out this inside-outside, like ecosystem approach to change and pushing our government, right?
Yeah.
Inside-outside doesn't work if you only have outside. And so several of us that were there for these parties, which were like, you're 40 minutes and you're out, right? It's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
picture. We're also in meetings like talking about Afghans with those people,
For sure.
right? And so it's kind of like it was a way to maintain a relationship, not with the president who we don't know, but with the
Yeah.
people on staff who were like every day begging to get people out of Afghanistan,
That's cool.
to push resettlement, to get money to our community, right? And but I also understand you're not an asshole about it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the difference, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
And the people that are assholes about it are the ones that I have a problem with because it's great to disagree and figure out how to get out of a ditch together. It's when you start like cannibalizing each other. That's the piece
What's
that like,
the
drives me
internet,
nuts.
That's everybody's like,
Yeah.
you're not Afghan. There's a lot of people calling everybody sellouts, but it's hard when you're put in those positions. I will say,
yeah.
from what I'm being sold, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm being sold on her being there for Afghan relations, all right?
Yeah.
I am not being sold for her being there for Arab relations, for the obvious one, Palestinian relations,
Yeah.
which is, I think, where a lot of the criticism comes from. I think her being there is
There's a step and a right
no,
direction.
it's like a red herring. It's a distraction. It's kind of, look, we have one
That's
of you guys
interesting.
here who's gonna like make a difference.
Yeah.
But really, it's just posturing, and that's how I think a lot of Palestinians and Arabs feel
Yeah.
towards her being in that position. And I think that's where a lot of people push back.
Yeah, and I don't have a good answer for that because I think there are Palestinians that are all. I mean, I've met them that are working on the campaign, and there are Arab women who are doing this work. I think she got tagged for this job because she's actually really a good bridge builder and has like a social justice background. I think I don't know.
Okay.
But I hear you on that feedback.
Yeah.
And I also think, unfortunately, a lot of people in our community discovered Palestine like a year ago.
That's hilarious. Okay.
And I've been accused of being a genocide apologist
I mean,
or whatever.
in their defense, Israel still hasn't found it.
I think the problem is that they did find it.
Okay, look at us. Look at this snap back and forth. Okay.
So,
You know what, bro?
Yeah,
Joseph?
I am in your clothes. No, but like a lot of people who are very animated about this come at people who are in these weird navigating positions by being like, you don't get Palestine. Right?
Yeah.
I've been told that I don't understand Palestine. I literally spent 3 years writing about Palestine in graduate school.
Yeah.
All my professors were Lebanese and Palestinian. I was in Students for Justice in Palestine in New York.
Wow.
I've gone into like public back and forths with like Alan Dershowitz and these like really strong, and this is
Yeah, Epstein's
documented.
lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and like
You
just
know things.
down in Redwood City, there's an organization called Rebuilding Alliance that rebuilds homes in Azam and the West Bank.
Yeah.
I served on that board for years, and so people and a lot of people have done the work, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter because all that gets erased, and they're like, no, you're not navigating the system the way we want you to, so you're not pro-Palestinian.
Got it.
And I've heard this feedback from other people in our community who have done either like anti-racism work or Palestinian liberation work, or at least peace work.
Sure.
And if they're not like straight up just coming and saying like, you know what, burn it all down,
Yeah.
we're getting cooked.
For sure. And I think that statement, very eloquent, I have nothing to disagree with, is going to get you some hate. Just so you know. It was very well said.
Yeah.
Well, people are going to look at you and be like, that's not fast enough. That's not good
It's
enough.
not.
And I don't have a better answer.
Dude, they're right.
Yeah.
I'm not, this is where people like who try to be in my position and argue, this is where we lose because like, that's right. Like what's going on right now is really fucked up actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not adequate. It doesn't mean that we don't push, but it means that at some point we have to figure out how patient we're going to be with each other to push in different ways. And by the way, I don't think I'm going to convince you, but I do think like, you know, I don't argue that point.
Yeah.
You know, it's not good enough.
Okay.
I want to shift back to the Kamala conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, again, I'm Canadian, so I don't know shit, right? So most of my
Person does blackface. Shit, he wants to be Kamala.
He has makeup on right now.
I want to be both sides of
He's
Kamala.
my complexion in real life, guys. Don't.
Trudeau's not the guy anymore, though, right?
He's still the guy.
He's still the guy.
Oh, I thought they got rid of him.
No, you can't get like we could stay in power for as long as possible.
I thought it was someone new.
Nah, they're trying. They're trying.
Just disguise again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. But coming back to Kamala Harris, like the thing is, a lot of the stuff that she's saying and the stuff that she will do, I think Americans are looking at it as like, what did you do under Biden? Because we thought you were in control. So now when you say, I was in the rooms when Biden made these decisions, but vote for me because I'm going to bring in this change or the positive thing. But it's like, we saw how you were and the country needs a change.
I will push back a little bit on that. Vice President doesn't do anything.
What if you're Cheney?
Yeah, okay. That's one
Wow,
problem.
that's again hard to argue.
All right. You got me there, dude. I walked right into that trap.
Yes, that is not a response from a Canadian that I would like. That's very American to know that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay. I guess she could have been Cheney.
Bro,
to
look at
America.
Look at Biden though. Do you think he was in control? Even if it's not Kamala,
That's fair.
it was the Democrat. So why would I continue voting for the Democrats if I'm not happy with them?
Yeah, I'll co-sign that point. Why should we vote for the Democrats who we feel haven't done anything for us?
Yes.
I think that's what we're all like wrestling with. And the way I've ended up where I've ended up is I think about the outcomes. And third party, like I voted for Green candidates in my younger years.
Yeah.
But on November 6th, I think they're going to be one of two options that are going to come
Cornel
out.
West.
Cornel West or Jill Stein. Exactly. And on Earth, it's going to be Trump or Harris. And so I don't speak for other people who are supporting Harris. It's just my view. My view is that I think that the opportunity we have to keep fighting and pushing comes with her, and it doesn't come with him. And you could be like, you know what? Fuck it.
Sorry,
Keep
when
fighting.
you say we, do you mean we as Americans or we as Afghan-Americans?
I mean, we as Afghan-Americans specifically.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking about the issues we're talking about, like Gaza and Afghanistan.
Yes, and the Taliban. So do you think
Yeah.
that Kamala Harris is the type of leader that could go into Afghanistan and meet with the head Talib dude and be like, hey, we need to help, we need to get the women back to school? Or do you think Trump will do that?
We'll either do that.
So should either do that is the first question, right? Because like, are you granting them legitimacy by having the president of the United States
Yeah.
go to Kabul or Kandahar or
Or
whatever?
just meet at a
Well, they are
neutral
legit.
ground?
But
But
like it or not, they are the government.
Right. So do I think she's going to engage to help address what's happening? Or him? Yeah, I think she's more likely to do that than him because I don't think he gives a shit about Afghanistan.
Fair enough.
And I think that the fact that one of the big issues in Afghanistan is the fact that half the population is being erased.
Yeah.
And that half is women and girls.
Yes.
I actually think that does matter to her based on her track record and what I'm hearing.
Okay.
And so on that issue alone, I feel like she would probably be more willing to figure out how to deal with it.
Interesting.
That said, like we should not delude ourselves because if people in this country cared about Afghanistan as much as we would like them to,
Yeah.
the Taliban would not be in power again.
Facts.
Yeah.
How could we even like think that they're going
No,
to be utopia?
they don't care about us. That's really what it comes down to. And by us, I mean people in Afghanistan, or even honestly Americans. I think
Yeah, that's fair.
my whole thing is this left because we're taught lesser of two evils, right? That is the selling point for Kamala.
For some people.
For
Yeah.
some Trump, I would never vote for. I have no intention of voting for. But I think in a true democracy, which I want America to be,
Yeah.
we should shift towards third party. Is third party just like a dream and it's
No.
never going to happen?
No, I think it can happen. It's happened in Europe, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm not like I don't know where, but I know it's happened in Europe.
Yeah.
So I think it is possible, but the one thing that I think we can't do, and what makes me nervous as a parent even, is like burn it all down or not think of the actual outcomes, right? I'd give you one good example that I always talk about with people, and it's judges. Like I'm really hung up on this idea of judges.
Yeah.
Right?
Supreme Court, you mean, or just in
Supreme
general?
Court, but actually the power that the president has to appoint Supreme Court justices goes all the way down to federal district courts and magistrates, right?
yeah.
So like all the way down the system,
Well, they already got 3. I don't know how many more they could get.
all of them,
Yeah,
right? And then
fair enough.
look,
that's that old bitch's fault. What's her name? Ruth Gator Bint. Fuck, I'm fucking it up. You know
that
what
was
I'm talking about.
Falaba Bakshish, you know. let's-
I love her, but bitch should have fucking left office.
I mean,
It's
she
on her.
stayed on stage too long. That was
Yeah,
like
it's her
that was
fault. Yeah, you got to know when
you have to know if you care about the longer.
But then
game.
Obama also couldn't get anybody in during his time.
No, because Mitch McConnell blocked him.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
that doesn't. But that just proves that the system is fucked up.
Yeah.
But I do think I get caught up on this, and there are ways that people don't think about this. Like Marcellus Williams, the guy who was executed recently, right?
Yeah.
And he was innocent.
He was innocent. Yeah.
And the people who had the last say about that were on the U.S. Supreme Court. And they said, good luck.
Yeah.
Right? And so even on an issue like that, or Afghan frozen funds, right? That's being litigated in federal court in New York City.
Yeah.
A federal judge is making the decision about whether or not Afghans can have access to those funds, right? Abortion,
Do
immigration.
you know where we're at with that?
It's stuck.
Yeah.
It's stuck.
It's frozen like the funds.
It's frozen like the funds, right? So not to like be on a soapbox about this, but that stuff outlasts 4 years or 8 or 12.
Yeah.
Right? It's as long as that judge lives. And that's the piece I wish our community thought about more and allowed us to talk about more, because that shit really affects us.
For sure.
You know,
But what can we do about it?
I'll just say, devil's advocate.
Yeah.
How much worse could it get? You know? What? Let's say
yeah.
the liberals, the progressive, whatever, out of spite, do not vote for Kamala Harris. Trump wins again.
Yeah.
Gets another 4 years. Do we think maybe everybody will wake up to third party, or was more even harder left because of an overcorrection, which might be better?
I don't know. I mean, you tell me, looking at the state of American politics, like we can't get most people to vote at all.
Fair enough.
And the ones that do are split between two parties for very like entrenched reasons, right? So I think what would happen, in my view, and this is why I'm voting for Harris in part, is that it would give Trump 4 more years to go further to the right, and dismantle like the controls that exist, which he's already started to do.
Yeah.
Right. And so if and when we do get a chance to dig out, we're like 12 feet instead of 6. You know, and that's my big concern. And there is shit that can be really bad, by the way.
Yeah,
You know?
I understand. But to me, I think Palestine, you wrote papers about it in college. I wrote one paper in high school, got a D. And
Same.
you know,
I feel like one of us is lying.
I had a Jewish teacher, so Zionist.
And you still got a D?
No, yeah, well, it was not greatly written, you know, but he called me racist and then gave me a D. For the Palestinians, right, none of this is relevant. So, like, as fucked up as, like, let's say women's rights, or also I don't think, you know, the states choose abortion now. That's fucked up. But I think the Palestinians who are dying, and 100,000, whatever the number is now, it's up there. These judge issues, which is concerning for Americans, is irrelevant, right? And I think to show the Democrats that we care about these Palestinians' lives that are dying in record numbers, we have to kind of burn the system or move away from the Democrats.
That I think that's a view a lot of people have, and
Yeah.
I think there's a good reason for it. I don't have that view, and I actually know publicly there are Palestinian Americans who don't have that view, and so it's interesting. And I'm not criticizing you, but
No, fair enough,
people talk for Palestinians all the time,
Yeah.
just like they talk for Afghans.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was on a launch for like a Muslims group for Harris. You can imagine how that went.
Yeah.
And one of the most compelling speakers was Dr. Hind Jara, who's an 80-year-old Palestinian woman.
Okay.
And this is on video.
Yeah.
As a Palestinian woman and a doctor and someone who came to this country, and she said, I have one foot in the grave right now,
Yeah.
right? You need to understand what I'm saying, that Trump will be a catastrophe for us, and she supports Harris. Now, you can disagree with her. I'm not going to argue with her,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not saying that that's a majority view,
Yeah.
but I do think it adds like this level of complication because there are Palestinians who are saying, actually, the guy who moved the capital of Israel to Jerusalem
Yeah.
may be more than marginally worse for us.
Yeah.
You know,
Jared Kushner is the.
I mean, he said he wants to develop
Yeah. I made a sketch about it.
in Gaza. So, I mean, does that mean that, Democrats are morally like clear of what they've done? No.
Yeah.
But every American administration for over 70 years since Roosevelt
Yeah.
has been of this mindset, right? Like in 45 or 48, Roosevelt flew and met with the king of Saudi Arabia and came back saying the only way to protect Israel is through violence. This, that was the mentality in the 40s.
Wow.
And that's the mentality we need to break. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Sure.
I think it hardens with Trump on Palestine. And a lot of Palestinians disagree and Afghans do.
Yeah.
Some agree. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't.
Could I say something for this? I see you guys kind of going back and forth in regards to the Palestine issue, but I saw the Trump debate with Harris, by the way.
Yeah.
And they both are like sucking up to Israel.
Yeah.
They're like, she doesn't like Israel. If it was left to her, and then the other person's like, no, I support it. It's kind of like that Family Guy skit where it's like, by not going to war, you have to remember not going to war is being gay. And then Dick Cheney's like, I was the first to want to go to war. So what I'm saying is like, they're both pro-Israel. So that can't be the factor Americans or anyone or Muslims look at to pick the person, because I feel like Harris is not better.
She spoke at AIPAC multiple times.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
most Zionists, like 40% of Zionists, 50% of Zionists like her over the third parties. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And I actually I haven't tracked her on Palestine or Israel for years, but she also doesn't have a long public record on it, to be honest, aside from the last 4 years. But I think the Israeli lobby, which everybody's familiar with, they're very proud of the power they have in this country.
Yeah.
And they've spent decades building it and wielding it, right? And so you show me an American politician who's going to run and not make clear what's already obvious in terms of this country's support for Israel, and I'll show you someone who's not going to win. I'm not excusing it, but it's just not
Sounds like you're
surprising to
saying
me.
someone controls something, my friend. And we don't take that kind of language.
No, I don't, man.
Exactly.
No, you're right. But can I tell you one of the things? I point to 3 communities in this country when I look at what I would want for us.
Yeah.
All right. I think the Indian American community has been very successful. I think the Jewish American community has been very successful.
And Nigerians.
Nigerians have been incredibly successful here.
Yeah.
4 communities, I think.
Got it.
Wait, where were the first 3 again?
I was going to mention the Pakistani community, which has actually been
Oh, you
incredibly.
shouldn't have done that.
Why?
Our listeners, turn this part off. No.
I mean, are you Pakistani?
Yeah, look at him.
Why
those
did
are
this happen? I'm so nice to you.
No,
No, it's not an insult. There's nothing wrong with being Pakistani.
yeah, that's getting weird. But those are the communities that like have done well in this country, like building influence and power and a seat for themselves.
Yeah.
Well, Pakistan has been in the U.S.'s pocket for
a long time.
for a very long time. Who was the
Yeah.
other one? Jewish people.
Jewish Americans,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything about them.
and Indian Americans.
And Indians. They're just smart. There's nothing there. There's a billion
Yeah,
of them, they do
they're
well.
hardworking people.
So what do we do, guys?
I think Asian. So okay,
We gotta get the tech support.
can I ask a question? We need tech support. But can I ask a question in regards to any
My Shalama's
American?
broken. Can you help me?
Yeah, like they could do anything about that. We need to outsource to Nazrina. Hey, come in here. Didn't your people invent this? And she's like, she brings a little boy. But okay, sorry. But my question is to any American that wants to vote, should they vote with this candidate will potentially help me and my business and my life, or this is the best candidate for America? Because sometimes that's not always the best candidate for me. Maybe Kamala Harris might like help women in another country potentially, like Afghanistan. Let's say I'm a non-Afghan. I don't care about that.
No.
Why would I care? Versus Trump, he says, I'm a business guy. I'm an outsider. I'm not a politician. And to be honest, that's very attractive. As somebody
think
who's
it was,
listening to
yeah.
I think it's still what he's pitching. He's like, I'm still not.
How could you have been president of the U.S. for 4 years and not be a politician?
Well, he turned into a politician. Is what he's saying.
He's still from the outside.
He's still from the outside. So why? So what advice do you give to an American who's like, why should they vote at all, and why should they vote for the party that you recommend?
I think that there are a lot of Americans whose lives would be better under Trump. They happen to be rich
Yes.
and white and straight
Okay.
and totally insulated.
Closeted, I think is the word you're looking for.
Also that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so
Mike Pence.
For some Americans, like, great, like your life will get better, your taxes will go down if you're really rich. For a lot of Americans, like especially from communities like ours or even rural white Americans, like he doesn't give a shit about you. And so he's not going to focus on the things that matter to you, like, I don't know, paying for college, like getting health care, unions.
But didn't Biden say we'll take away your student loans, and he still hasn't done that?
He does. You know why that is, Kane? Great
he
question.
forgot?
Because the Supreme Court blocked him twice when he tried to do that, because they said he didn't have the power to do that. And you're right. What he tried to do, he might have just tried to do because like he knew it was going to get blocked. But the point is, where it died was twice in the U.S. Supreme Court on the lines that you would expect.
Why do Democrats lose so much?
Because they can't fall in line.
Okay.
The Democrats have, like, I think, really good principles,
Yeah.
but they can't fall in line. Like, you have people who call Trump a monster,
Yeah.
and whose wives he called ugly,
Republicans.
Yes.
Yeah.
who are now shining his shoes
Yeah,
because
J.D.
like
Vance called him a Nazi.
because he's a vehicle to get them where they want to go, right?
Yeah.
Across the spectrum.
Yes.
Democrats, a lot of times, are like, yeah, it's a nice vehicle, but
It's not a Tesla.
yeah, are those real leather seats?
Yeah.
And, does the seat fold back? Like, are those whatever, right? It's not a Tesla.
Yes.
And I think that's the reason. And also, I think Democrats don't know how to fight. I think Democrats are really, really weak-spined, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, if you lean
today or always?
I think always.
always for a long time.
Okay.
Like, people are not willing to go and have hard conversations or be like, yeah, you know what? It is good to help poor people in this country or working people.
Whoa, dude. Whoa, relax. This isn't a radical podcast. Okay. When fours, you're on your own.
I like Bernie. What's wrong with Bernie?
Bernie's
Bernie's
never going to
awesome.
succeed.
Bernie's awesome.
Yeah, but he's also, he's old.
I didn't back him last time because I thought it was going to win.
Okay.
But,
I see.
This election, like,
They didn't even have primaries this election.
they didn't.
Is that how does that work? Isn't that weird? Isn't that like hurt
Yeah,
democracy?
that's a great question.
That's a hurt democracy.
Yeah, that Trump brings that up often,
Yeah.
and that is a great point. He's like, why is she involved in this?
I think it's a great question. I think it would have been a lot better, and the Democrats would have been in a better spot if this decision for Biden to leave, which was the right one, had happened earlier, and they actually had a process.
Yes.
I still think she may have ended up where she is, by the way, because there's deference to her being vice president.
Okay.
That's a real thing. But I think some people would have been like, you know what, I feel better about this now.
Yeah. Do you think the Muslim vote will sway the election at all?
Yeah, I think it can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think anybody in our community who tries to say it can't is hurting us. Because I don't think, even when we disagree, never take power away from each other.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, even in Nevada,
Yes.
they're not only
Fremont. No, I'm just-
Yeah, I wish, right?
Yeah,
But
California's blue.
there are enough Muslims and there are enough American Muslims to make a difference, right? So I think that's why people are nervous,
Yeah.
right? Like I think Michigan is like a
Do
real.
you think that had anything to do with? I'm sorry to cut you off. That had anything to do with Biden dropping out? Was the Michigan people kind of flipped on him?
like
Like the Michigan voters were just like
no, I think
the, the Muslim, other than him being like senile.
like why are they not voting? You mean or
Yeah, I think they were. I think the big part of the decision him leaving was because of his Palestine takes.
yeah, I think so.
Maybe,
I think that was
maybe.
I think that was a big indicator of the problems they were having.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's why you're seeing the Kamala Harris like spending time there meeting with people. Is it enough? I don't know.
Do you think she'll be better than Biden in any way on Palestine or the same?
First of all, do you think Biden was good?
No.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I
So
worked really hard to.
Would have been great if Trump was in power.
No,
I don't think that's
no.
what he said.
That's too easy of a question. Kane, like if Afghanistan had fallen apart the way it did, right?
Yeah.
Which it would have probably anyway.
Yeah.
What happened to Afghans under Biden? For Afghans under Biden, just getting people out in the work, that would have never happened with Trump. They would not have been evacuated. They wouldn't have protected status the way they knew now.
That's a
And I hate saying that because like it pisses people off because it puts Afghans ahead of other communities.
Yeah.
And that's upsetting for other communities.
Yeah.
But two, like it's kind of acknowledging that like even in this horrible situation, it actually could have been worse, which for our community is like, really?
Yeah. Less planes.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think we move on.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can. We're not going to get to a conclusion.
I see. I see.
I mean, now I'm voting for Stein. So you
Yeah. I don't like Stein either. I like Cornel West.
Cornel
But
West is-
he's not going to win. But so Stein is my. I don't know. I don't vote for president. If I'm being honest, I vote for California. It doesn't matter. I vote for policy.
Are you still going to vote to just down ballot then? Like,
I look at the what do they call the AACI? What the
like the recommended progressive ballot.
What are they called? The Humane Society? No.
Humane.
The dogs? No. I don't know what they're called. I'm blanking on the name. But
Right.
they're
But like how good people vote. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's an organization that I really like that
Yeah,
is in my values.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we have other questions.
Yeah.
I don't want to harp on this.
Yeah,
I think we've been talking about Trump a lot and Biden and Kamala mainly.
Yeah.
Where can people find you to talk more about this or to support you if they're like,
Or harass
yes.
you. Just heads up.
Yeah.
Might happen.
Oh, they have no problem fighting me for that part.
Okay, got it.
I mean, I'm online. You
Yeah.
know, I'm
With
on,
your socials.
yeah. Joseph Azam at Instagram. I'm
Yes.
on LinkedIn. Please leave me alone there.
Yeah.
And on X.
Yeah.
With my name.
Okay.
But I've
For Kamala Harris kind of stuff. Can I ask you some Afghan questions? Now we're just quickly.
please.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
let's stray away.
Do
from
you
that.
do you have any female friends?
I have predominantly female friends.
Okay, is it because
Obviously. No.
Yeah, but is that why you invited them all for the after show?
they all come in
Yeah.
with balloons?
Yeah. You're like they're wearing this.
Yeah.
Do you think Afghan men and Afghan women can be friends in 2024 by setting boundaries?
Yeah, for sure.
That's one of my questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is this a bad question?
No, I don't like it. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Yes, they can be friends with boundaries. Like they're human beings, and our community's evolving.
Have you? You're married. Do you
I'm
like
married.
talking about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you friends with your wife before you
I was.
married her?
Yeah. We were friends for a long time.
Okay.
In
We
college.
broke out of the friend zone.
Oh yeah. I
That's
was like
his
friends and then engaged.
Yeah.
Surprise. We were friends for a long time, and like that's all it was. And then, but I always like there was always like an energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people I dated like always just picked on her. Like they're like, I don't really like her. I was like, why? Because I'm calling you from dinner with her. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were friends first. Yeah.
Okay.
Is she's not Afghan?
She's not Afghan. She's Canadian.
Canadian.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
How was it introducing us to the family? Was it easy?
Yeah, it was easy. I never
chill.
dated Afghans.
Oh, okay.
So my parents had met a couple people over the years.
Okay.
But where I was in my life when Jenny and I got together, like I was very confident this was the person.
Awesome.
And it has worked out great, like so far. And my family's
Chauvinist.
It's not wood, but There you go.
Out of all the places.
Yeah, I usually go down here.
Yeah.
I saw that. I heard that episode too, actually.
Nice. We got a fan here. Thank you. Thank you.
But
for
yeah,
listening.
it's been great. It's been great.
Wonderful. Yeah. All right. Next.
Okay, good. Being
Power through now.
We're
Okay,
powering.
yeah,
This is a lot of power. Being a lawyer in America.
Yeah.
Do you think that the system is racist? Can somebody just work hard and they can achieve anything in America?
The system is racist. What you described can happen. It's very rare.
Despite it. Yeah.
It's very rare.
Despite the racism. Or where do you align like politically? Are you just a liberal, or socialist, communist?
No, I'm definitely not communist. I don't know enough about socialism actually now to know what it is.
Okay.
I've like lined up in very typical progressive stances.
Okay.
You know, so socially very
Like bottom left of the little.
yeah.
that little
and
grid.
the thing that brings me more to the center is the approach piece, right? Where I do believe like you can do stuff on the inside too.
Yeah.
And that's what drags me closer to.
Do you think violence is ever needed for progress, or can it always be talked out?
I think if you're talking about oppression, I don't think anybody except the oppressed person has a right to decide how to be unoppressed. And we come from a country where people have to fight for their freedom and still do.
Yeah.
And so I will never say yes or no on that question. I think if I was in that position, 100% that's something I would consider.
Good point. Where are we at?
Yeah, we got a lot more, but are you Afghan?
No, I'm not Afghan actually. Yeah, I'm
No, Afghan.
Am I? No, I'm full.
Oh, he's full Afghan.
Okay, you're
I'm
full.
full. I'm full.
Do you think that you've been successful in your industry or in life thus far because you kind of look white?
Do you think colorism has ever played a part in your life?
Yeah, for sure.
Positively?
Yeah, to my benefit.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Got it.
Yeah. And also like things like the vernacular you use.
Yes.
Like the way you've conditioned yourself to speak and engage with people, like that's conditioning. I think that's been like a benefit. And it is for people in our communities all the time. So the data supports it.
Do you support the Taliban?
I don't.
What's your thoughts in the Taliban support in 2024? It's growing
In our community,
in our community, but also in other communities. They're like, oh, maybe they're doing something right.
I don't know if I agree with the second part.
I'm not saying that it's. I agree with
No,
it.
no,
I'm
I don't
saying
even-
that it's. People are saying that it's a thing, and the influencers from like Germany and stuff, like white people are just going down, be like, hey, it's not that bad.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah,
like
there's a
Dawood has
lot
something
of-
to say about this too.
There's a lot of tourism now.
Yes.
And a lot of people be like, look, this country is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a big problem with that.
Yeah, cool.
Mostly because they give a caveat, you know, and of course the issue of women, you know, and of course the issue of reprisal killings, you know. But look at the Sharia, you know, and if that's where you fall,
Yes.
like
That shit is fire.
Yo,
though,
it's
dude.
so fire.
I mean, it's cold.
And
but
the
it is.
bologna.
but like if only 20 of the 40 million people can have it, that's a
Yeah.
problem. So
They can have it. It's not in public.
and in terms of engagement, like I'm probably on the extreme of like, you know, wanting to minimize the amount of engagement because
Well, that's so interesting because you literally said the opposite this entire pod about, you know, in like working from within. They were saying, what about like dealing with them, talking to them, maybe slowly over time making them more progressive, as opposed to like violent means.
Well, I didn't
Or
say
just-
violent means.
No, or just like, or just ignoring them, and you know.
But so I'm owning the fact that like on this point, like I'm far from the realities.
Okay.
Because most people are saying, look, like even for the humanitarian reason,
Yeah.
you have to engage. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me about the terms of those engagements, right? So I'm like, I'm like, I just want to be careful not to give an inch because I also am so angry about that.
I understand. It's so interesting because I feel the exact opposite of everything I just said up until this point. Whereas like burn the system down, we gotta start over. But when it comes to the we're flip flopping on the exact same issue. It's like, well, you have to kind of work with what you fucking have. I don't like the Taliban by any means. But I understand it is what it is, and you can't vote third party right now.
Or like even one party there. You know?
Second party, if you will.
But I mean, anybody who has the stomach to do that work,
Yeah.
and like anybody working to help relieve the suffering of Afghans, like
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm not an expert in that, so you know, I had ideas that were wrong clearly.
Can I ask you a question? Being a Democrat, do you support gay men? More specifically, gay Afghans. What's your thoughts on that?
What do you mean by support?
Like you,
Like, am I happy they're alive? Or
yeah, that you're happy that they're alive.
yeah. I think our community is really homophobic, and I think that every time,
But also super gay.
Yes,
Same time.
at the same
which is
time.
those are related.
Yes,
Right?
Like
So
our
yeah,
wives.
For the record,
That's why we
yeah.
got beards.
and I wish that we people outside of our, I'm trying.
That's not what I was
People,
thinking. But,
oh no, I know.
okay, yeah. Thank you.
I wish people like outside of our echo chamber talked more about the fact that like we're super homophobic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I support gay Afghan men and women and people who identify as, you know, anywhere on the gender spectrum. But what does that mean? I don't know. Well, you know, like,
Yeah, no, you have no problem with the gays.
I have no problem with the gays.
No problem with the gays.
And you know what really?
Are you gay yourself, by the way?
I'm not gay.
That's always where it goes.
That is interesting.
Hey, is that an offer?
Yeah, we'll fuck you right now.
Hey, you support the gays?
Okay, why do you come here, dude? We thought. No, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Later. But you know what changed? What not changed, but made me much more liberated around this conversation in our community is having kids. I don't know what my kids are going to turn out to be, like who they're going to choose, how they're going to live their life. And the thought of anybody like treating my kid not perfectly, like really pisses me off.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I had the same views, but like it really intensifies when you have a kid.
Yeah.
You know,
you're just more understanding. You're like,
you're
like, I'll have a gay son or a thought daughter.
Yeah.
Or
that could be the same child over time.
Gay son dot. Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Wow.
Over time. I said over time.
You thought you were progressive, Dawood. You thought you were progressive.
Yeah, just like son becomes your thought daughter is
Yes.
wild, bro. That's a crazy transition.
Should we end on a very light note?
Yeah, let's
being
end
a,
on
being a father.
Speaking of genocide, no, sorry.
Being a father, I think that you probably think about too much about how your kids are going to be in the future. And today we're just visual. So there's YouTube, there's like other social media platforms.
Yeah.
Do you think we're getting away from reading, and do you think that's still important?
Yeah. This is a crazy question because our older daughter taught herself how to read. And I have to tell her, stop reading. Like she'll read like in the morning, at night, at dinner. And it's like the best thing to see because all her friends are on pads. You know,
wow.
And like phones.
Phones.
And she yeah, sorry. And she likes that stuff, but she got into books. So I do think it's a lost like thing to do. Her mom's a great reader. I'm not.
It's crazy that you sound. That's the most Taliban thing you've said all day. Like, stop reading.
Yeah, I know. That's true. I want my daughter not to read. So maybe there is something for me to work this out. Yes.
Maybe you can work from within.
Yeah.
You got something. You're like, this is what I did with my daughter. They're like, you're in. Bring him in. And he's a wakil. Okay.
All right.
I think this has been great. Thank you so much for being a part of
Thank
this.
you guys
And
for having
thank you. You're an iftikhar to our community because, mashallah, we need more smart people like you to allow us to critically think about a subject. More times than not, we see things online and we're like, that's what it is. Or we heard this thing on WhatsApp and then we repeat it because that's where we're at.
For sure.
The fact that you can critically look at something and come to a conclusion and then even challenge some of your ideas today. And you're saying, here's where I'm flip-flopping kind of thing. And this is awesome. How did you like the chicken?
The chicken, I'm mad that I had to let it get cold.
We're going to warm it up and have some more. But thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, thanks for even coming on the podcast because I know we had a little bit of tension over we had a guest who's a little bit more Taliban-y.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, we were very open. We want to hear every side for better or worse.
I forgot he did that.
Yeah, he came out. That's how I found out about it.
Oh, right.
But did I come at you or I just
No, you
commented?
gave a very valid criticism that I was like, yeah, that's fair. Do you want to come on the podcast and talk your side?
Here
And
I am.
Exactly. So
I mean, yeah, I appreciate you guys doing this and the
Yeah.
fact that people can just talk their truth and have conversations and then not try to throttle each other's throats. I think is like a really positive thing.
Yeah.
But also it's fun that we get to like talk about serious things
and try to make jokes.
and try to make jokes. That's nice.
Yeah, it's mostly gay jokes.
Gay jokes.
Gay jokes.
Well, we are all bearded.
Yeah.
What's your favorite fruit?
Fruit?
Yes.
Clay
Watermelon.
Okay.
Sorry? Watermelon?
Yeah.
Can you say a different fruit?
Sure.
Another fruit you
Kiwi.
like. Kiwi. All right.
Kadu.
Well, I was going to be like, oh, right. Kadu. All right. Can you guys...
Not even in the camera?
It is on the camera.
Okay.
So, hey, guys, can you please comment pumpkin or just give us the pumpkin emoji if you made it thus far to let us know that you listened to the full episode.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you so much, dude.
That was awesome, you guys.
You're watching Awjiz Boys Show.